Hey everybody, welcome to another Sacred Cow Barbecue. It's April 21st in Bolshevik America. I'm Patricia Aiken, an average host with exceptional guests. And it's going to be my pleasure to welcome Wendy Callahan back to Sacred Cow Barbecue. It's been a while, Wendy. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Well,
Good to be back.
it's pretty amazing. Everyone I've met through Sacred Cow Barbecue, they start out as guests and become friends. You're the person that has been my good friend for so long, and you still get to be a great guest. I mean, you're the exception in the rule here. I love it.
Yes, me too.
Good. Well, listen, I got to vent a little bit before we get to the vaccines and Vax the movie, because if anybody thinks what's going on to our political prisoners doesn't come straight from Harry Reid, Dirty Harry, think again. I had it confirmed to me by a county commissioner today that Harry gave the word to treat these men abysmally. And so we'll be covering that later on. Victoria Sharp is going to be with us on the second hour. And Renee Powers said that she's going to tune in and give you an update from the cowboy and the lady. So she's been doing some great work. But Wendy, I never even heard about the movie. And when I tried to find it, it wasn't showing anywhere. Tell us a story about Vaxxed.
It is amazing. I didn't even know that imagine coming to a little town like Ocala, Florida. I didn't even know it was there. And my sister called me. She saw it online somehow. She goes, Wendy, it's playing in Ocala one day. So I quickly tried to buy tickets online. Yeah, I tried to buy tickets online. It was sold out. And then they said the 9 o'clock had seats in it. I'm like, he goes, but get down here early. So I did. And it's the best movie I have ever seen. I mean, the best, hands down.
Okay, well, tell us, people haven't heard about it and don't know what the big hoopla is about. Tell us the storyline, how was it developed, and all that.
Okay. Well, you guys remember Andrew Wakefield, right?
Yes.
Dr.
Andrew Wakefield. Mm-hmm.
Yes, he was the doctor that was a gastrointestinal doctor who a couple of the parents, it was like 12 parents, came in with their autistic kids and said to him, I know you can't help us with autism or anything like that, but my child's gut is a mess. Can you help us out? And he's like, sure. So he ended up scoping 12 kids and he did a study on it.
Yes, but only because the mothers insisted that the autism started when the stomach problem started, right?
Yes. So what he found when he scoped the children was they had measles virus, the vaccine strain, irritating the lining of their guts. And so all he said was, hey, listen, let's take a look at this. Let's not do this live virus, 3 of them together. Why don't we try just doing one at a time?
Yeah, not the don't they call that the trivalent, the MMR, instead of
Right.
So
then, everybody wanted the single ones. Everybody was trying to buy them. And the pharmaceutical companies were not making it available. And so he's like, why? What are you doing here? And he goes, well, if we say that there's a problem with the MMR, it'll stop our MMR sales. Heaven forbid. Okay?
So we wouldn't want to upset the investors now, would we?
No. So that's when the whole thing started. And then they, of course, demonized him, ran him out of his job. And after the Lancet had published his paper, they published it. And then they decided to retract it. Just tore the man apart for no reason, for telling the truth. That's all. And all he's saying is, look, hey, he didn't say, let's stop the whole vaccine program.
No, what's amazing to me,
let's break it up a little.
What's amazing to me about Andrew Wakefield is he's still a vaccine apologist.
I know. He still thinks that they have some value, and that's, he doesn't say that in the film, thank God, but,
Thank God.
He
went and worked with Dr. Jeff Bradstreet for a while, and Bradstreet is one of the dead physicians.
Yes. Well, there's all the time people shooting themselves and throwing themselves into the lake, all the time.
Yeah, didn't he commit suicide by shooting himself in the chest?
Yes. Yeah. If he's a doctor, he wouldn't have access to some really good drugs that would do it for him in a less painful way.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
Right. Well, we'll get to that later on. So,
Yeah.
how did this movie come about?
Okay, so this man, Brian Hooker, he is investigating autism because he has a son that's extremely damaged, and he's in the movie. It's so sad. He's walking around with a bottle. He's like 15 years old. It's just the saddest thing you ever saw.
With
So
the
he was
son's walking
researching.
around with a baby bottle?
Yes. I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
during the film, it'll cut back to families and how they're affected, and that's when you just see this. I mean, it's and then there's one scene in it where they just pushed all the pictures, really, like a burst of pictures of everyone who had the same experience. The child is fine at 18
Oh,
months, the vaccine comes up, and they're gone.
yeah.
It was just story after story after story after story like that. But they make it quick,
Well,
so
that's
it's
fear
not.
mongering.
So
That's
you're not
fear
crying.
mongering,
You're not crying, the whole time watching all these children just, go to nothing after a shot. But so this the guy that produced it, his name is Del Bigtree, and he works as a producer for the Doctors show on TV. And there's one scene in there where he confronts the two doctors, Dr. Sears, and then it's another woman doctor. I can't remember what her name is, but she's a black lady and she's a pediatrician. And they go ahead and show them the study that was done by this whistleblower at the CDC. And they show them the study, and they're appalled. I mean, you see their faces they're literally, in shock. And then afterwards, they ask him, "Would you be recommending the MMR to any of your patients?" And both of them said, "Absolutely not." And what's so cool about it is you watch them and you hear them and you could see them, processing all this, and they said, "This is what they tell us. This is all we have to go on is what they tell us. If they're lying, how do we deal with that?" It's a really powerful movie. You've got to see it. And I
Okay,
know
okay,
I know
okay. Well, hold
vaccines.
on, hold on. I want to read you some of the reviews.
Okay.
Okay. Slickly produced but scientifically dubious hodgepodge of free-floating paranoia, heart-rending imagery, lots of shots of cute infants who reportedly were damaged by vaccines, and anti-big pharma conspiracy mongering.
They haven't seen the movie.
Yeah, that's for right. Well, no, that's what they're paid to say. That's what they're paid to
Yeah,
say.
there was a guy that
And
he was on the Ocala one, and he was debating about this movie and screaming how horrible it was. I go, "Did you see the movie?" And he goes, "No." Well, then shut up, okay? Because you don't know what you're talking about. they they haven't even seen it.
Well, the Guardian has to start in. Jordan Hoffman from the Guardian, he starts in with the ad hominem attacks. As a filmmaker, Wakefield could surely use a regimen of steroids.
Oh
What the
my
hell does
God.
that mean?
I have no idea. He looked great in the film. So did Del Bigtree. They all looked fabulous. There's no reason for them to have steroids. Oh my God. It was
Sorry.
a fabulous movie that they are going to have an extremely hard time convincing people that this is, conspiracy or anything like that.
Okay,
It's just
so
basic fraud. That's all.
okay, so hold on for a minute. So you go to the movie and you're sitting there. Can you hear a pin drop?
Oh, no, nothing. It was unbelievable. And then afterwards, they had a question and answer. Everybody stayed and went up to the front and listened to them talk. And he was explaining. He said, he goes, "Are you going to play this again? I have several friends I'd like to see it." And he says, "I can't get anybody to advertise it for me. This is unbelievable. I can get no press coverage. So guess who runs the media?" And we're all like, "Big Pharma?"
Yeah, and the big farmer guys are all controlled by the same people, absolutely.
Yeah, and I
So,
said, "Well, are you going to have it out on DVD so at least we can buy copies and send it to friends?" And he said, "Yes, I will." He said, "I really want to get it out to the theaters so we can get more people, because if we do just a DVD, it's going to be just everybody who already knows this stuff, is going to buy it. But let's get it out to more people." And so that's what he's doing. And now I see he said he put it on YouTube too, and it looks like he has. So you guys can
yes, wasn't
all
that
watch it on
exciting?
YouTube.
I thought you were going to turn cartwheels when you saw that.
I did. I can't. I've already put it on my Facebook, and I will send it to everyone that I know. Yeah, it's
Okay,
the best
here's
movie.
here's a couple other reviews I want to share with you. These are the I'm looking on Rotten Tomatoes. It says here's a tomato one. This doc will be looked upon as either an indictment of government censorship or a lame attempt by discredited sciences to revive a theory against vaccinations. And another one said a fair and balanced expose, prepared to be enlightened, alarmed, and enraged.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what it is? It's so basic. It's not even a conspiracy. What? And you know what? I remember seeing this in the news, but I guess not paying too much attention to it because I know how corrupt they are already. But what happened was there was a man, Dr. Thompson, and four other people did a study because they were really actually trying to find out if the MMR was causing all the autism. So they did the study, and they found that it raised autism rates by like 7,000%,
Yeah.
and then 314% for the black children. It was horrendous what they found. So
Well,
then they
Wendy,
tried
didn't.
to.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
So then they tried to cover it up, and they took out people. They did different things. They only used school children, or they
Yeah,
only they tried to
they
narrow it
cooked the
down.
books. They cooked
Yeah,
the
they
books
tried
like
to
the
cook the
Denmark
books. Yeah,
study. Sure.
but then they couldn't even cook the books because no matter what they did, it was still a horrendous increase in autism. So they decided to just throw everything away and say they couldn't finish the study. So Dr. Thompson, I guess he sat on it for a little while and he was like, okay, no, I can't do this. I can't do this to the American people. So he came out and said, look, this, yeah, MMR causes autism. So so what they did, he has now what's called whistleblower status, so he actually still works there. So what he did was he told this guy Brian Hook, who was interested in in the subject of autism, how to find all the studies that he needed to so everyone would know that it was a scam, and he kept a copy of the study. And so what the movie is about, this guy Brian Hooker, hold on, my phone is going to ring in 1 second, and I'm going to try to catch it and not, oh no. Okay, anyway, so I'm sorry, there it goes. I wish I could hang it up quicker, but I can't.
Hey, you did good.
So, yes, so what happened was he, let's see, I lost my train of thought. Where was I?
Okay, Brian Hooker was given the breadcrumbs so he could follow his way back to the documents.
Yes. And so he has all that. And what the movie is phone calls from Dr. Thompson. Phone calls that he didn't know were being taped. And Brian Hooker taped them. Yeah, Brian Hooker taped them, and he was saying all these things. Listen, I'm going to show you how to get to this stuff. I can't do it. I've done everything that I can. Unless I'm subpoenaed by Congress, I can't do anything because I was part of the study, and if I open it up myself, I can get arrested. So what does that say about science? Okay, just right there. What does that say? Transparent or not? I'm going to go with no.
Not really. Yeah, I give that a not really.
Yeah, I give that a not really. So, so what the movie, like at the end, what it says to do is, contact your congressman and say you want him subpoenaed so you could see the results of this study. But there has to be enough people doing that and wanting that done. So I think once the general public sees this, they're going to demand it. It's sit on the edge of your seat watching this unfold, really.
So when people were coming out, and you said, and you were standing there with a friend.
Yeah.
And did you ask him? You asked somebody questions. You asked.
Oh yeah. So here's what happened at the 7:00 showing. It was completely sold out, and they said just get here early for the 9 so you can get in. So I was like, okay. So I'm waiting there, and then it ran over a little bit because everybody kept asking questions, and nobody wants to leave this movie. It is so fabulous. So one man comes out and he's got obviously a newborn. I mean, a newborn. And he comes out and I said, so, are you going to vaccinate? And he goes, oh, hell no. He's a black guy. Oh, hell no. Nothing will touch my baby with a needle. No. And the two of us, we just got chills all over us. We're like, yay, yay. One more baby saved, because it really destroys the brains of black children. For some reason, there's some sort of, I don't know.
Just like it's worse for males as opposed to females.
Right.
Estrogens, there
right,
must be
exactly.
something right in the neurochemistry that's more exacerbating.
Yes. But they had one of the saddest stories on there was a mom. She had twins, and she took them into the doctor's office. And you can imagine twins getting vaccines, screaming to high heavens, hysterical.
Mm-hmm.
So there were 6 vaccines on the table, and she gave one of them to the little boy, and then all hell broke loose, and then she ended up giving him a second MMR. Yeah.
Because she was confused about how many she'd given this one or that one?
Yes.
Oh my God.
And the mother flipped out. What have you done? What have you done? And she picked up both kids and took them home. And I think the little boy had a seizure that night and ended up in the hospital and then gone, autistic. And she said, the best thing I did that day was grab my daughter up and not let her have any of them. And now she speaks 3 languages and plays the piano. It's the difference in them is just crazy.
Well,
very, very, very sad.
You used to know a man with twins, with autistic twins. Never mind. It'll come. It'll come to you.
God, I know so many people with autistic kids. Jesus, it's so sad. It's so sad.
Well, what's amazing to me is how they put the kibosh on this movie getting out in the theaters. I looked here in Las Vegas, and it was listed, but I could never see it. It looked like it never showed. They just had it on the list, but it never played here.
Wow, they probably covered it up. I mean, it was. If you could see the theater where I saw this at. First of all, downtown Ocala, which is like, maybe, I think it has a couple of street lights, all right? And it's a tiny, tiny little theater. I couldn't even imagine Del Bigtree coming there, But he did. He did, and he was awesome. He was absolutely awesome.
Now, somebody asked him if he was going to make a movie about something else, about the dead doctors. Isn't that what they asked him?
Oh, yeah. Everybody was saying, well, what about these holistic doctors that are being killed? Are you going to look into that? And he goes, you know what? I might have to look into that.
Yeah.
I hope he does, because he does a beautiful job. I mean, he's the producer for the show The Doctors, and, that's a pretty popular show. He does a good job on it. Of course, I don't
hate
agree
it
with half the things they say. I don't agree with any of it, but I mean, he does a good job.
It is well produced.
It really is, and the way the way he had that Dr. Sears on, and he's like, you know what? I don't know what to do now, because I don't have the right information to make choices.
Well, this doctor. Was it not Barry Sears? Which Dr. Sears? There's Dr. Sears from the La Leche Foundation that everybody worshipped. And then there was a Dr. Sears, an Ask Dr. Sears. And you and I got into a big, go round.
I know. I wonder if it was the same guy. You know what? I don't know. I remember that. He was saying, something about the vaccines were bad. He was into how much aluminum there was in them. And then he was like, oh, well, let's just slow down the schedule. I'm like, oh, please, the slow kill? You're still injecting the same amount of aluminum. I couldn't understand his logic there.
Yeah.
But I mean, all they have to go on is what the CDC says. They don't look at anything else. They're trained just to follow directions. Right. They don't look outside the box.
Well, Wendy, we need to make this video go viral. Right now, it's only got 7,000 views on YouTube. He must have just put it up.
Just today, you told me that. How long has it been on there? Couldn't have been on there very long.
I know it couldn't have been on here long. Let's take a look and find out. So
yeah.
So
what he put it up.
But Wendy, is this too little, too late? I mean, the government is in this full-scale beast mode of its full spectrum dominance right now, and they are trying to force vaccines just like they're trying to do gun control. Vaccines are one of the big deals here. One of the big things they're pushing. What do
I
your
hope it's
friends
not
say?
too late. I hope that, I mean, all my friends are asking me, "Where's it playing? Where's it playing? I want to see it." I'm like, "Good luck with that." I mean, all the only thing that I can see is that it's in California right now, which is great because they've got that SB 277. I hope they get everybody in there to watch that and see if they can overturn that, where the kids are forced to go to school with vaccines. They can't go without them. That needs to be turned around.
Yeah, but all right, well, let's talk about this. What happened when it was scheduled to play at the Tribeca Film Festival?
Yeah. Well, Robert De Niro was pretty much in charge of that, and he let it play there. Well, from what I hear from different sources that are kind of underground, that he was threatened, and he had to pull it because
Wow.
everybody that contributes to that film festival, whatever it is, are all
Huh?
pharmaceuticals. If you look at the list of the people that
Sure,
donate to it, it's all pharmaceuticals.
of
So
course.
they're not having that. They're not having that play. But I think the genie is out of the bottle. I mean, people want to see it. It's sold out everywhere. Wherever it goes, sold out. So I think it's just a matter of time.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm gonna throw this. I don't know where to throw it. I guess I can throw it in the chat room and see if anybody's over there that wants to see it. Okay, hold on. Let me get there, and I'll give them the link to it because there's several there. And so we'll be doing that. So he originally let it play at the Tribeca Film Festival and then pulled it. So he
Well,
was
no,
threat.
they didn't let it play at all. They didn't let it
Oh,
play at all. And then another film company picked it up and then let it play. And then it came down here, in Florida. And then now they're just have just a couple, and they can't advertise it because no one will advertise it. It's almost like you have to go to the movie theater and ask them, "Are you playing it?"
wow, you got to have the secret handshake or something.
Exactly. And a lot of people are saying you need to call your theaters and say, "I want it," and see if they can get enough people, to want it, and then bring it there. Because there's no advertising. It's not going to happen. And that's who owns your advertising is pharmaceuticals,
Right.
because they won't let it play. But it is hands down the best movie I have ever seen. There's nothing hokey about it. It's exactly how it happened, how it unfolded, and it's so obvious that it's frightening. And this is why. I mean, this is the government's not going to say it. They're not even commenting on it. CDC is not even commenting. And
Yeah.
I don't know how this Dr. Thompson still has a job there. He's probably dead
Yeah.
in a drawer. We don't even know.
Yeah. And so what do you think Bradstreet was doing that got him killed?
Well, he had discovered that they were putting in this, what's it called, an enzyme called nagalase. And they were putting that into the vaccine. And what it does is it shuts off the immune system. But then there's also something in our immune system that it's turned on by GMAFC, something like that.
Yeah. Right.
So, yeah, so what the doctor was doing was giving people this GMAC and turning off the nagalase that had been injected from the vaccine, and he was having all kinds of
Oh, people have
uh,
had phenomenal
success.
results with that.
Right. It turns back on your immune system, like cures cancer, helps the autistic kids, is doing everything. And I think 12 of them were connected to that study that they were doing, and all 12 of them are dead. And then that, every day there you hear
Well,
about
that's
another
just
one.
that's just a coincidence, I'm sure.
Well, yeah. I mean, we can't have people being cured by cancer or autism with, something natural. Come on. That's not going to
Yeah,
work out.
that's not going to work. Yeah, I'm
No.
telling you, it's full spectrum dominance. It's
Yeah,
it's unbelievable that holistic doctors dead.
I know. Well,
Well,
you've got to do like a big shout out to everyone to go watch this movie.
I did. I
You
put
can
it. I
see it
put it in the
on.
chat room, and it's the YouTube link that's in there. So make put it on your agenda. Go put it in your click on it so you have it. And
Yeah, I've already put it on my Facebook. My aunt called me today. She said, I really want to see that movie. And I'm like, good luck with that. And now I can send her this. I'm so happy.
yeah,
Yeah, I
wow.
mean, even when they had the movie, it was for one day, 2 showings.
Just
Unbelievable.
two show. Yeah, yeah. Usually it runs for 2 weeks minimum,
Right.
all day
Yeah,
long.
exactly. And there was there was one mother that was standing there. Well, it was a grandmother, and I said, "So, do you think vaccines cause autism?" And she goes, "I sure do, but my daughter doesn't, and she's a nurse, and we have an autistic granddaughter." I said, What does she think that it's caused from?" "Oh, she thinks because she was watching too much TV when she was little." I said, "Oh, yeah, absolutely. They'll do it every time." Yeah.
Wait a
I
minute.
mean, she's
I grew
serious.
up on television. She's serious
Yeah.
that caused autism?
Yeah, that's what she thinks. I said, "She really believes that, and like her soul of souls." "Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah." She doesn't watch TV anymore. Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe
Wow.
that'll cure her stopping, watching the TV. I mean,
Wow.
yeah, it's scary, but it was a lot of grandparents watching it, and then a few people with babies. I mean, the babies were even quiet when they came to the theater. They wanted to hear it. I was sitting next to a baby. That baby never made a sound.
Well, I told you the time I was old enough, my mom was in the other room with my brother getting his cast cut off, and the doctor tried to put that needle in my arm, and I ran around the chair screaming.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
he never
kids
said, and I
know.
was a placid child. They couldn't, they go, what's the matter? On a certain level that is not
You
good for you.
do. When you take your babies up to that, you put them on the little bed they have in there and they pull out the shots, everything in your body says, no, don't do this.
Really?
But then and the doctor whispers, he'll die without him. Mm. He doesn't say, oh, by the way, he could have a seizure disorder after that or autism or hundreds of other problems.
Be paralyzed,
Yeah,
Guillain-Barré, and
exactly.
yeah. So
Doesn't say a thing
so
about that.
so Wendy, we talk about this all the time. Why? What do they get out of this? I know they get a sick population. They get dumbed down kids. I mean, it's like the schooling isn't bad enough. We got to neurologically damage people as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess because they have, voters. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what could the possible gain be. Because the thing is, these kids don't die. They live to 50, 60, 70 years old. And they
Yeah.
have to be, warehoused, because their parents are gone. And that's going to be expensive. I mean, he was saying, I think it was by the year 2030 or something, 80% of the boys will be autistic. 80%, that's like your whole workforce. What do you what do you do?
Yeah, I remember Mark Geyer giving those kind of predictions. I mean,
Yeah.
it's incredible. So special ed teachers, if you can stand the job, you will never ever be out of work.
Oh no. Mm-mm.
You may want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because you're wondering what happened to all these kids.
right. So, Wendy, I don't understand how people can still vaccinate their kids. I mean, you and I have been looking at this for a long time. And Wendy, you'd been at it for 3 years. And so I had the benefit of getting up to speed a whole lot sooner because you'd already done so much of the research and you got it. And so I kind of like was able to stand on your shoulders to get what I found out about them. But it's
3 years?
yeah.
No. Yeah, my son is 17. This was
No,
when he
no,
was
no. But when
2.
when when we first met and we're talking about this, you'd
Oh,
been
okay.
into it
All right.
for 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so that's why I was able to get up to speed so quickly. But
Yeah.
I don't understand because just an hour online would tell any parent, don't do this.
I know. I know. If you looked at this for 5 minutes, you would be like, oh, no, hell no. But I come across people every day. Had a little baby in Sam's when I was in there and had a little Batman outfit on, newborn. It was so cute. And I said, "Oh, how old is the baby?" And she said, "Oh, it's 2 months." I said, "Have you vaccinated him yet?" "No, but we're going to go in, next Monday." I'm like, "Don't. Why don't you research it first?" "Oh, I have. It's perfectly safe." I go, "No, you haven't researched it at all. Okay, at all." And then I just had to walk away because there's no point.
No point.
There's no point.
Well, everybody, you're listening to Sager Cow Barbecue on Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. My guest tonight is Wendy Callahan and from vaccinetruth.org. Wendy, is your site already moved over? You were changing over to a blog. Is that done?
Yeah, it's not really a blog. It is still a website, but I changed it over to Weebly instead of front page what I had it on, and it's a little different. Like, I remember, if you remember on my other one, I had the little pictures that you could just click on and go to a certain page.
Right.
I couldn't figure out how to do it in Weebly, so it's like one continuous page. You just scroll down for everything, and then, of course, you can hit the links and go to the links and then go back and then continue to scroll. But it
Okay,
has
so it looks
everything.
a
It's a
little
little neater now, a little easier to read.
nice. Okay.
Yeah,
People are
a
asking
lot of
me for the...
compliments on it.
Great. People are hold on, I got to type in here, so just let's be quiet for a second while I type so I can take out these keystrokes later.
Okay.
No, it's not putting mine in. For some reason it doesn't like me now. Oh, there it is. I did it twice. I just didn't scroll down. Huh. Okay, technical difficulties. So, again, you're listening to freedomslips.com. So, run over, make a donation, please. Support the station, get the archives, the cool stuff, whatever you can do. Make this doesn't happen for free around here. It takes money every month, and so we'd appreciate it. And if everybody that listened just threw a couple bucks in every month, we wouldn't make these silly announcements. So it's pretty interesting. So, Wendy, your friend Gunther was going to be here with us tonight, Gunther Williams, but he couldn't make it. So how did you meet him, and what's his whole thing? He's an activist.
Yeah, he's an activist. He has laryngitis. He can't talk, but he wants to come on. He just can't do it today.
Okay.
But what he contacted me, I guess he saw my website or something, and he contacted me and he says, I would really like to help you stop vaccines altogether. I'm like, yeah, really? Are you Santa? And he said, no, there is a way. There is a way to do it, but we have to have like everybody on board, and it involves like doing certain things with certain lawyers, and he evidently has a lot of friends that can get things through the government and that kind of thing. So he's trying to be helpful to us by telling us ways that we can get this accomplished.
Okay, well, I'd love to hear about that. Someone's making a great comment here in the chat room. Tetra50, absolutely. He says he thinks it's come to the point that most products do the opposite of what they're advertised or purported to do. Absolutely. Yeah. We live in opposite land.
Absolutely.
They advertise it on TV. Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
If it has a commercial, don't eat it.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, I think we've made, tremendous inroads into this vaccine paradigm. But, I hang out with people like you. All my friends know about this.
Yeah.
So when you run into a true believer, it's like, whoa, where have they been?
Right. I know. When I saw all those people at the theater, the place was packed. I'm like, where have you people been? I love you guys.
Yeah.
But you know what? I've decided that I'm going to take full credit for it because I did put up some billboards in Ocala, okay?
Oh, absolutely.
Love them, protect them, never inject them. And then I put my website up. So maybe some of them read it, right?
Oh, it had to have a huge influence.
Yeah.
I think you really underrate what that billboard accomplished.
Yeah, well, you know what? They did have it in the paper, and the principal of the school said, you absolutely cannot come to school without your vaccines. And then the lady in the paper that was doing, the article said, well, you can get a religious exemption, so you're wrong about that.
Really?
It was a pretty exciting time, yeah.
Wow. So you're scheduled for a speaking engagement soon, or are you going to do your whole
Yeah.
presentation? Is that coming up, or did it just happen?
Yeah, no, it's coming up on the Cinco de Mayo, 5th
Oh,
of May. Yeah, there's a friend of mine who's a teacher at Santa Fe, and she does environmental science, and so she wants me to come in and talk about vaccines. Because really, that is right up their alley. Toxic chemicals and toxic things, and here
yeah.
we are putting that into our bodies,
Yeah, you
calling
used to
that
do a
healthcare.
nursing school. You used to do a nursing school every year, nursing school program, right?
Yeah, well, it's principles of disease. It was a medical coding class, but you had to take principles of disease. And so, yeah, I used to speak there. That's when it all started. I was in college. I went back to school when my kids were little, and I said I wanted to do something at home so I could, stay home with them. And so I was going to do medical coding because they do that in your home. And so I go, and it was at that time when Chase started seizing from his vaccine. That's my son. And I was supposed to write a paper on a disease. And I said, I'm going to write a paper on vaccines if that's okay. And the teacher was like, yeah, sure, yeah, that sounds like a good subject. Go ahead. So at 22 pages, I had to turn it in because it was going to be a book, and it was only supposed to be 5 pages. So I turned it into her, and she called me at home, and she was like, this is fabulous. Can I print this for everyone in the class? And I said, absolutely. And so the last class, she asked me if I would make a presentation for the class. I said, absolutely. So I did my first PowerPoint on it. And then I went back every year until she retired and did it. And I would just watch the students. Just look out at the sea of open mouths. They're just shocked.
Oh.
They didn't even have any questions at the end. The only question was, how do I avoid these? And then I put my last slide of how to get an exemption, and then I didn't have any questions afterwards, just panic. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
And on RP Wake, I'm trying to get him to call in here. He's saying that he has clients who defend vaccines. He says it's crazy,
Oh,
absolutely crazy.
how?
Absolutely.
How do you
Phone number? What's
how do you defend them? How? Just a one look at the ingredients. Please tell me how you defend that.
yeah.
What do they say? Ask him if you can find out what they say. 'Cause-
Well, I kind of lost a job over it one time when I said to the woman who said, "Oh no, I don't think there's anything wrong with that." Our um, what do you call this women? The midwives tried to tell us not to vaccinate, but we didn't think there was anything wrong with it. And I said, "Oh really? Well, what part of it did you like? Was it the oncogenic viruses, the RNA and DNA from diseased animals, the mercury, the heavy metals? What
Formaldehyde.
part of it did you like? Yeah, what part of that did you like?" So
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just
Usually they will not debate you because they have nothing. They know nothing.
yeah.
If they're saying they can defend vaccines, they have no idea about them. None.
No, and it's so funny because don't you remember when they were defending vaccines? All they had was that NIH study, that thing at the National Institutes of Health or the National Academy of Sciences, where they remember where they had like 20 doctors and 14 of them said absolutely this is causing the autism epidemic, and then all the ones that work for the vaccine company said, "Oh no, that's the only study they ever trot out," and it was complete fraud.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is this
Complete
MR.
fraud.
This one, this movie's about the MMR. Oh my God! And they just did one vaccine. Can you imagine?
Oh yeah, like somebody's talking about hasn't had a flu shot in 20 years, hasn't had the flu in 20 years. Yeah, absolutely. But you get a
Hmm.
flu shot, you have a 50% chance of getting the flu. Without a flu shot, you have a 1 out of 2 chance of getting the flu. It's exactly the same. But you don't have any chance of getting Guillain-Barré syndrome or
Yeah.
Alzheimer's disease. I love it that the Cochrane database, who takes no advertising, that's the real deal. They say if you get a flu shot 5 years in a row, you're 10 times more likely to develop autism.
Well, they're full of mercury. What do you think happens when you inject yourself with mercury?
Yeah,
Jeez.
exactly. Exactly.
It's only like the second most toxic chemical on the planet.
But Wendy, they took the mercury out of vaccines, don't you know?
Oh, that's right, that's right, that's right. No, they just reduced it, and then they just told you that they reduced it. So, do we really know if it was reduced or not? So they took it out, you'd die like right on the spot from that filth.
Exactly.
At least the mercury like calms it down a little.
Yep.
Did you see Prince died?
No.
Yes, Prince died today, and they're saying that he died from the flu.
Really?
Yeah. So which begs the question: did he get a flu shot? And it came out. It was so funny. Somebody was writing and said the CDC claims 36,000 people die from the flu every year, when in actuality it's 18.
Eight,
18
not
people
not
die from the flu.
18,000.
Okay,
18
not
individuals.
18,000,
1 8.
18.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So they called him on that too. They caught him on that, lying about that.
Right.
But Prince had just come out, and I didn't even know this, but it was on a few videos, and he was talking about chemtrails, talking about vaccines, talking about,
Oh, so he
and then
had
I
the
was like,
flu. He got the
yeah,
flu.
he had the flu, all right. He had that special government flu.
Got it injected into him. Exactly.
Yeah,
Well, Banjo
exactly,
Picking Gal, I couldn't agree more. Iatrogenics, we call it a iatrogenocide, death by medicine. Absolutely. Leading cause of death in the United
absolutely,
States.
absolutely.
Yeah, and it's also the leading cause of death amongst natural physicians now.
Yeah, yeah. Be careful, you're not a holistic physician because you're a
Yeah,
target now.
yeah. Whew. Yeah, crazy stuff. I just don't know. I mean, but I guess what we always say, Yuri Bezmenov, the
Yeah,
brainwashing is complete. Even when you show people photographic evidence, they can't see it.
I can't see
Can't
it.
see it. Yeah.
I know, I know. It's frightening how people are, and I guess I was the same way before I was abruptly awakened with my son seizing. Because I mean, I took him in. Here you go, shoot him up.
Your mom warned you.
And my mom warned me. I still went,
Yep.
and I still went. I still trusted the doctors.
Yeah, that's pretty shocking, isn't it?
Yes, and my cousin, she also went. Her baby at 2 months died on the table, stopped breathing. They had to resuscitate her. And you know what they said to her? Your next shot's at 4 months. Let's just go ahead and admit her into the hospital. Oh my God. And she did it. She did it. Would you in a million years after that happened have another vaccine?
No,
If you're in your right mind, okay?
no. As a matter of fact, I remember telling a friend's daughter who had a reaction to Gardasil. She had the
Mm.
mildest Gardasil reaction I've ever, witnessed or read about. Because, I mean, girls die from that or wish they were dead because it destroys their lives. They never get out of bed again. They're in
Right.
tremendous pain. But she had, all these symptoms from it. And I just remember telling her that don't worry about a bad reaction, to another vaccine. Because if you ever get another one, I'll kill you myself.
Yeah.
So I told her, just don't. I mean, I'll go crazy, absolutely crazy if you do this again.
Yeah, and now they're finding it. It destroys the ovaries of little girls.
Oh, absolutely. The fallopian tubes and stuff. They're. Or you can have what's worse than not having kids, having a deformed child.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, our bodies are not made for this toxic stuff. They're just
Yeah,
not.
RP Wakes refusing to call in. Bailey, you're welcome to call in. Anybody, you got a question for Wendy? We only got a few minutes left in this segment. He says he's never been vaccinated, and his youngest daughter is 19 years old, and she's never. And does she have many sick days, RP?
Wait a minute. Is she alive still? It's a miracle.
Yeah, a miracle. It's a miracle, and he's alive. I mean, that's a miracle, and he hasn't had a sick day in 20 years. Well, he had food poisoning once. I remember that. Oh, does not let you in. Okay, hold on. I'm going to have to go and do a little research here to find out how he can call in. He's trying. Okay, that's not letting you in, huh? Darn it. 347-688-2902. That's the only number that I see here for this. Sorry. Oh, no, let's try that one, RP. 347-688-2902. I want you to hear from an unvaccinated person. He's a
that's
little
still
crazy,
alive.
but you know that the vaccine didn't do it. We know it wasn't vaccines that caused it. Oh, now I'm in trouble. Now I'm in trouble. Okay. Now he's never. Okay, are you gonna try that number, RP? No, I guess not. He's being hard to deal with here. Hold on, let me get it again. Hold on, it's hard to do here. I'm not a pro at this. I can't usually look at the chat room while I'm doing this. Okay, 347 area code 688-2902. Call in, say hello to Wendy. While we're waiting for him to call in, or anybody else that would like to, don't all rush to the phone. It's They're trying to push this mandatory vaccine thing in California still. What?
Oh yeah.
Because that's been terrible. So what's happened with that? They passed it. I mean, they bought off everybody they needed to buy off last fall, or was it last
Yep.
spring?
Dr. Pan.
Dr. Pan, exactly.
Mm.
And so,
Yeah, as far as I know, it's still there. I know that Adele Bigtree was talking about that. He goes, we got to get this to California so that people can see what's happening. And so he's hoping that it'll make it, they'll overturn it somehow if more people knew. First of all, there's only 7% unvaccinated in California. What is the big deal? Why does this have to pass like that? 7%, that's it. 93% of the people are vaccinated. Why do we have to have a bill
yeah,
to say that we're forced vaccinating? Why? For 7%?
Because we want to control everyone and everything, and then we can't unleash what we really want to unleash on them. And if they're not completely compromised from the get-go, we can't have population control without vaccines. It's a big component. Big component. Geez, I don't know why this is not letting him in tonight. But, well, we appreciate the effort, RP. I just wanted people to hear. Okay, you can go to Freedom Screen A, I think it is, or Freedom Screen 1. Freedom Screen 1, I think, would let you in if you're on Skype. But, okay, we're just going to, just plain Freedom Screen would let you in. Freedom Screen. So, but I guess we're falling down on the call-ins tonight. That's all I can say. So, Wendy, they started this kind of legislation in Florida. What's going on with it?
Oh yeah, it was cut off like instantly in Florida.
Really?
I was so glad because I was ready to go wherever I needed to go, but it was over in like no time. They were just like, no, and they shut it down.
Oh yeah,
Here's
here's parents saying, I know when my kids were babies, they never got sick until we had the shot time. Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
In that high pitched crying.
Yeah, the
inconsolable cry and encephalic, exactly. Brain damage in progress.
Yep.
It's terrible. Well, it's too bad. I was really hoping you could hear from RP Wake tonight because, well, he needs to come on some other time anyway. But here we have a full adult that's never been vaccinated. Absolutely never been vaccinated. Has a daughter who's never been vaccinated. Says she's only been sick about 4 times in her entire life, and she's how old do you say, 17, 18 now, and maybe 19 years old. Time flies. Man, I remember when she was a lot younger than that. And
me too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Wow. It's crazy that people can't see the abundant health that unvaccinated children have.
I know.
I know you.
Their smile, their eyes are straight. They can engage you. Just the other day, I was doing a speech at a holistic thing, and this lady had come up to me, and she had a 1-year-old, and she goes, "Do you remember me from last year when you did this?" And I said, "No." She goes, "You stopped this baby from getting vaccinated." And then I'm watching the baby. He's like a year old now, and I'm watching the baby, and he's like engaging. He looks, he points, he does everything. And I go, Do you see the difference in your friends? He goes, "When I go to my play dates, they're blown away with him. Blown away."
Exactly. When you see kids that aren't vaccinated, it's unbelievable. You can't get over it's like a light is on inside them. John
Right.
Kaminsky tried to call, but you know what? I can short circuit this by calling him. So I'm gonna call him right now. And we've only got maybe half a minute here though, but we'll. Hey, John.
Hi.
He's like engaging. He looks. He points. He does.
Oh, yeah. Okay, there we go. Did you have a comment for Wendy?
I wanted her to repeat what she just said about Gardasil, what Gardasil did to girls who took it.
Oh,
it
it's
kills 'em.
destroying their ovaries. It has a spermicide in there.
Oh,
It has it's the most disgusting. It has more aluminum than any shot, and they want you to give them 3 of them for the Gardasil.
But the amazing thing is, when they did the trials on it, what they did to cook the books is instead of just giving a saline shot, they actually used the same aluminum adjuvant. So girls that would pass out from the aluminum adjuvant, they would just say, "Oh, they're just scared of needles," and so that's how they cooked the books to get Gardasil out.
And I also heard they want to give this to boys.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
it'll be even worse for boys. Just stay tuned. We'll be back in just a minute, everybody. Hey everybody, welcome back to Sacred Cow Barbecue. I'm Patricia Aiken, and right now we're just going to take a few more minutes and try to wrap up this vaccine, show that we've been talking about. And I apologize to everybody that's tried to call in, and they've been getting a busy signal. I don't know what's up with that, but I've got John Kaminsky joining us and Renee Powers, and Wendy Callahan's back. And so, John, you had a question for Wendy at the end of the show. Why don't you say it again, because it was very important what she had to say.
I wanted Wendy to explain exactly the effect that Gardasil has on the women who've taken it. And I as long as I can ask it again, I want to know how many women have been forced to take this thus far.
Well, they're not forced, but the doctors highly recommend it because they don't want your daughters having cervical cancer. Now, you don't usually get cervical cancer to your 50s and 60s,
Right.
but we're going to protect them at 9 years old with a vaccine that only lasts 10 years at best.
So what are the
Call it that.
effects?
Yeah.
What are the effects?
Oh, it kills the little girl's ovaries. That's the side effect. And a lot of the girls have warts on their hands and on the bottoms of their feet for some reason from the shot. That's the major complaint about it.
So has there been a study of women who have had children who have had Gardasil shots and what happens to their babies?
From what I understand, a lot of them are sterile. Now, I do have a couple of friends that had a baby after the Gardasil, which I was shocked.
Yeah.
But then the next baby was a miscarriage. So we'll just have to see if that continues on. But a lot of them are sterile.
And what does Gardasil do to boys?
The boys supposedly are the people that give the HPV, which is like a wart, to the girls. So they figure, but it's for, the girls have it on their cervix, so it's like, boys don't have cervixes.
It's an opportunistic infection anyway.
Well, here's the thing. If you even research it further, Patricia, you'll find out it's a monkey virus, which is complements of your polio vaccine because it's made in monkey kidney tissue.
Oh, another monkey virus. What do you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like
so this is a vaccine for a vaccine-induced illness.
Right.
So why are boys given Gardasil?
Why are they given anything? They're criminals. That's why. These boys do not. I just looked up. There's an article. There's already one dead boy from it. I can't even imagine. I can only say this: if you're a pharmaceutical company and you want to grow your business 50%, and you've got a product that's only made for women, how do you do that? Include the boys. So there you go, 50% increase.
What
Can I
should
say
you do?
something, Patricia? Hello?
What you said?
Can I ask you a question?
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
What should you do to a doctor who recommends a vaccine to you?
I'll walk right out of the room and say, "You've not done your research. Have a nice day."
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's
Okay,
hard to argue with them. They won't argue anyway because they don't know.
Renee, they're bribing boys into getting Gardasil. Why don't you tell us about that for a minute, and then we're going to talk to Victoria. Victoria, thank you for being patient.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I just happened to, I'm listening to you tonight, Wendy, and thank you so much for all you're doing. I'm a mother of 5 children, and we're in California, and they're forcing, vaccines to go into junior high and everything else. But the interesting thing we had happen about 4 years ago when Gardasil was so strong and there was nothing really coming out against it, we happened to be at the school or at the doctor, and the nurse came in, and that I have a strapping large son, he's a good looking kid, and she comes in and she says, well, how would you like to make a couple extra, dollars? She says, we've got a trial going on, and we need boys. Would you guys be interested in participating? It's a $350 stipend, and you have to come.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you have to come 3 or so times. Well, we went home, and of course he heard the money. So he's like, Mom, I might as well do it. And I said, well, honey, I don't know. And well, needless to say, because he is the fourth of 5, we were a little busy at the time. And I kept missing appointments and having to call and reschedule. And something just kept telling me, I kept saying, I just don't feel good about this. But he was so wrapped into the money, even though it's not that much for a teenager who wants to go places.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah.
So, I am so thankful that was one time that I didn't follow through at the doctor's office. My 2 older daughters participated and had their shots. My oldest daughter's 34, and then I have a 22-year-old. And I don't know the effects on that because neither of them have had children as yet. But I just got to say, the bribing the boys to go in, how many went and did the trial? And it just made no sense. Yeah, no, that is a doctor who I've had with my, we've had him 12 years. And he's one of the top research doctors for vaccines and everything else. And he sits on the California board. And so I'm going to be talking to him, especially after this show tonight. And I would encourage parents listening, when anybody gets upset at someone who's not vaccinating, I always find that extremely funny personally, because so what? If you're vaccinating yours and the vaccines are supposed to work, what do you care if my kid is or isn't vaccinated?
No. If your kids are so bulletproof, who cares? Who cares? Exactly.
You must not trust those darn vaccines very much.
And John, just a last comment about what you're not supposed to get pregnant when you're doing the Gardasil shots. Now, how many teenage girls do you know plan their pregnancies?
Okay. I'm gonna go with none.
None, right? And so they've actually had deformed babies, because of Gardasil. So okay, let's we can do this some more. And Wendy, we've got to do this more often.
Thank you, Wendy.
And John.